Okay, so tell me something that you've been working on or that you've been struggling with lately.
Okay, so I've been trying to get more sleep because a lot of times during the day, especially during the semester, I'm really tired.
Okay, so you're trying to get more sleep because you're tired. What have you been doing to try and get more sleep?
So I've been trying to kind of rearrange my sleep schedule, so I'm going to bed and waking up at similar times. But even that's kind of hard just because of my school schedule. If I have like a lot of homework or if I just have other plans, it can kind of vary. And then, I mean, I try not to have as much like caffeine or just stuff before bed because obviously that'll keep me awake. But I'm still pretty tired throughout the day.
Okay, so you're trying to create sort of like a sleep schedule, and that's sort of working, but there are things that are getting in the way of that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is usually like homework if I have a paper or something. If I like start a project, I really like to finish it. So like if I start a project at like 8 or 9, I'm gonna be up for like a few hours because I don't want to finish it.
Okay, so with your projects, it's like an all or nothing thing.
Yeah, it's a lot harder for me to find a place to stop because then like when I start up again like another day, I have to kind of get back in the mindset of where I was.
Okay, well, at least you're working on it, so it's a good start. So what have you done in the past that has anything helped, or?
It definitely helps if I like kind of get my mind ready for bed, if that makes sense. If I like don't if like I eat well before I'm planning on going to bed, like a couple hours or something, because then I don't have as much like, I don't know, sugar or whatever is in my blood that's kind of keeping me awake. It definitely calms me down a little bit more. If I'm like watching TV or anything, it's usually helpful to do that like also well before I go to bed, but even that it's hard because I like to watch Netflix.
Okay, so you sort of have to be calm, be in a certain state of mind before you go to bed, and that helps you go to bed quicker?
Sometimes, that's definitely some of it. I think if I can just kind of make sure my body gets tired at a certain time every night, it'll eventually kind of follow this pattern, so it's not as difficult to fall asleep.
Okay, and how do you think you've been doing so far? Do you think you've been doing well and succeeding, or do you think you're still struggling?
I've done better. I think before kind of I made this goal, I was going to bed super late, or I would just be like, I would try to use the weekends to kind of overcompensate for the sleep that I lost during the week. And now I'm definitely a little bit more consistent with what time I'm going to bed. It still tends to be later than the goal that I set during the day, but it's getting more consistent.
Okay, so you're doing better, but you're still not at where you want to be.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so what else do you think you can possibly be doing that will help? Like, can you remove any distractions?
Definitely. I think right before I go to bed, I'm always on my phone for like a good 20 or 30 minutes. So even if I'm not doing that, even just like replacing it with something, I mean, journaling or reading, something that doesn't have like a screen in front of me, I think that would definitely help. Or just like, watching shows or anything in general is definitely keeping my brain awake, which is making it more difficult to get to bed at the time that I want.
So staying away from technology would be ideal before bed.
Yeah, staying away from TV, phone, laptop, especially if I'm working on something, then I get stressed and then my brain's awake for like another hour.
And that's something hard for you to do, to stay away from that?
Definitely. Because I mean the TV or like watching something on my phone is just like a good way to decompress if I'm like stressed out from during the day. Or if I'm working on something, like I said, I don't really like stopping a project in the middle, so it's hard for me to kind of shut that down and focus on sleeping. So it's more difficult, but it's something I'm working on it.
Okay, so you're stressed during the day, and then you come home and use technology to sort of like relax, so then that sort of gets you, I guess, hyped up before bed, and then you can't fall asleep and relax for the next day?
Yeah, I guess, hyped up might not be the word, it's hard to say. It's more like, I think just either the light from the screen or just looking at a screen, I think it's keeping my brain more awake. Because I'm not necessarily hyper, but it's more like once the show ends or once I put the phone down, it takes like another 20, 30 minutes before I'm actually like tired and ready for bed.
Okay, so it just keeps keeps you awake, not necessarily hypes you up. Okay, so that's something you're gonna work on, just technology. Do you have any specific goals for that? Like,
Yeah, I guess an hour before I go to bed, I want to be completely like technology free. So have like any kind of work deadlines I have, I'll kind of with like the time management kind of plan during my day to start them earlier, and then also schedule time in my day to shut it off early too. Because then I figure if I plan to turn it off, then I'll be more likely to actually do it.
okay, so you feel that if you plan for bed, then you can do it. You can make it.
Yeah, and it sounds kind of funny saying it, but but I think if I were to actually plan it, like, because when I plan other deadlines, if I have like a paper I want to write or another assignment I want to get done, if I plan it, if I have it in my calendar to do it, I usually like to stick with it because I know there's a deadline. So I feel like if I have sleep in there, or if I have kind of technology off in my calendar, then I'll be more likely to kind of make it a part of my schedule.
So if you plan it, you feel confident that you can pull it off.
Yeah.
That you